I want to introduce you to our pond, share our experiences, and make a suggestion for a natural swimming pool pond like this one. We love our pond, so do the animals. We have lots of toads and frogs, salamanders, lots of bugs stop by as far as dragonflies, and the wildlife really loves it. Okay, so the pond itself, it's about 25,000 gallons. It's about 20 across by maybe 32 across the long ways. It's about 5.5 feet deep in the middle, and then in the shallow zone, it's about 2 feet deep. And we've attempted to get some plants growing in the shallow zone. They're finally starting to take over, and that looks good and provides some shade, so not too much UV rays. Put growing power into algae and other things that we don't want in the pond. So the water has stayed pretty clear with that setup. We have sedge, flags, iris, arrowheads, and lily pads. Okay, about the construction of the pond. It started with an excavator, grading, digging it down. Like I said, it's about 5.5 to 6 feet deep in the middle. And then grading for the shallow zone. And then they coated that all in like a sand. And over top of the sand, they put the pond liner. And over top of that, they put a protective, really thick fabric. Then over top of that, they covered the shallow zone, both the outside of the pond and then the zone that kind of separates the shallow zone from the swimming area, with big rock. And actually, these rocks here in the shallower zone, there's square blocks underneath that. I think that was important in the construction, to allow a flat surface for the bigger rocks to set on, so that they didn't have a tendency to move as people would grab onto them as they were swimming. I think another important aspect of the construction was they left the water higher than the surrounding area, so there's no runoff into the pond. There is a section over here which is the low zone and the spillway, where when it rains a lot, water comes out of the pond. And that has worked as intended. Yeah, and so enjoyment of the pond by people. We have so much enjoyed to swim in the pond, and actually sometimes in the winter we do cold plunges as well. That's pretty exciting when you're breaking through ice to get in freezing water. Okay, a couple more details about the pond, just to confirm. It's not spring fed, so occasionally we do have to add water. We got the bubbler from the pond guy that's been very low maintenance. And all the rocks for the pond did come from our site here when we did an excavation, when we did our build. So we were pretty lucky with that. That definitely saved a lot of cost. That includes the top dressing rocks, so big rocks and small. But you can see, as far as the final dressing, it's just smaller rocks. We think that looks pretty good. We really appreciate the color of the flowers. There's not that many flowers right now, but some of these plants will generate some nice colors. And the birds and the bees and the butterflies also really appreciate that. In the winter, we turn off the main bubbler and we put in a smaller bubbler and heater, and that's important so the frogs don't die, and then also the birds appreciate having that as a source of water. Okay, and some failures with the pond. We did originally have pumps and a skimmer box, you know, pulling surface debris across the surface and filtering that out. We struggled to maintain that. You know, it's got a service and maintenance aspect as far as emptying those filters, and they would clog and actually starve the pumps of water and burn out the pumps. And so they were also expensive to operate, and between those two things, burning through pumps and then the electricity to run them, we just ripped that out. I think it's been this now the third summer without those pumps and the skimmer box, and the pond has performed fine. The water has stayed pretty clear. As far as treatment of the water, we have used the Pond Guy, and we use plant tabs for nutrition for the plants. We use an algicide. I tried just to use that at the beginning of the season, and as long as I also use Pond Clear and Muck Away, they're beneficial bacteria products, as well as a pond dye, then the water stays pretty clean and healthy, and we haven't had to use the algicide, maybe just once or twice through the summer if we do have an algae bloom. Okay, that's some information about our pond. Like I said, the main thing, the summary is that we love it and we totally recommend it.